continues. Flood cleanup efforts continue in Letcher County nearly 9 months after last July's catastrophe. Volunteers gathered today in Whitesburg to clean up rivers and creek banks across the city. This is the third river sweep sponsored by Double Quick in the last week. The first two were held in Neon and Jenkins. Double Quick Marketing Director Whitney Justice says people take pride in the mountains and many wanted to spend time picking up flood debris.
We can't help what happened back in July and made a lot of trash, a lot of debris in our rivers, but you know, with these awesome community volunteers and us taking part into host this river sweep, we can make a little progress to make it look better.
Justice says volunteers have picked up a wide range of items in the river, ranging from tires and plastics to cleaning tools. We'll have more on the cleanup efforts coming up tonight at 6. If you are 65 or older and got your COVID booster shot more than 4 months ago, you're now eligible for a new booster shot. Earlier this week, the FDA approved the new bivalent booster for the elderly and those with compromised immune systems. Dr. John Jones with Primary Care Centers of Eastern Kentucky believes that although the pandemic as we know it may be over, it's still important to get vaccinated.
So I can see us updating these boosters to add additional variants as they occur, which is kind of like what we do with the flu vaccine, that it kind of mutates each year and we develop a new vaccine each year to fight against the worst variant.
As you see there, all counties in Kentucky this week are in the green as in low COVID transmission category, except for Letcher County, which for some reason has shot up to the high category.
And we are still live in downtown Pikeville for 2023 Hillbilly Days, and the weather here in Pike County is fantastic to kick off this festival. We are looking at plenty of sunshine and blue sky right now, not only here in Pike County, but across the mountains right now. Here's a live look outside the front door at WYMT in Hazard and Perry County. Also looking at plenty of sunshine and blue sky. Also watching out, though, for possibly some high-level cirrus clouds back in the distance, but overall, a very nice and comfortable day on tap across the region. Temperatures, they are mild, middle to lower 80s, 85 right now in Jackson and Irvin, 82 for Monticello, or 83 in Monticello, excuse me, 82 for London and Somerset. Most of us right now in those middle to lower 80s and warm temperatures. Those will continue into this evening as well. We are also watching out for a breezy wind, but sometimes it actually feels good out here in the sunshine. Winds gusting anywhere from 15 to 20, possibly a little bit more than 20 miles per hour in some places. If you have any plans to come out and see us at Hillbilly Days, weather looks fantastic. We stay dry. Clouds continue to increase across the mountains and temperatures fall into the middle to upper 60s later on tonight. But like I said, Steve, we are watching out for some rain chances by this weekend. That full first alert forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Cameron, thank you very much. We're getting late word this afternoon that attorneys for actor Alec Baldwin expect New Mexico prosecutors to drop charges against him for the fatal shooting on the set of the movie Rust in 2021. Baldwin was holding a gun while rehearsing a scene when it went off, killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins and wounding director Joel Souza. Again, word that charges may be dropped against actor Alec Baldwin. SpaceX launched the first flight test of a fully integrated Starship and Super Heavy rocket from Starbase in Texas today. While the launch and ascent were both successful, the vehicle appears to have exploded at 3 minutes and 59 seconds after liftoff. It's unclear whether this was a failure of the vehicle or if SpaceX terminated the flight. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson was asked about the mission.
It's a good first step. SpaceX's modus operandi is to work it until it works. It looks like they got through the first stage of this big monster rocket. That's a real accomplishment.
Nelson says NASA will get a report on what happened to the second stage. He says he's very encouraged that they have gotten this far. The U.S. House of Representatives passed the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act today. The bill was introduced by Congressman Greg Steube of Florida, a Republican. The bill stipulates organizations that receive federal funding to host, operate, and facilitate women's sports programs could lose that funding if they allow transgender athletes to play on a girls' or women's team. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy talked about the bill's passage.
Today is a great day for America, for fairness, for families, and most importantly, for female athletes. House Republicans pledged before the last election a commitment to America to protect women and girls in sports. Today, we kept that promise.
The bill passed 219 to 203, with several members choosing not to vote. The bill, though, is expected to fail in the Senate, and President Biden has also promised to veto it if it makes it to his desk. We are more than 2 weeks away from one of the largest events Britain has seen in generations, the coronation of King Charles. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, today received the Bible prepared specifically for that coronation.
I mean, it's a beautifully bound and everything Bible, all done in gold leaf and wonderful. But its significance is not so much the value of the book, but the words used in the service, the greatest treasure this world affords.
Now, King Charles will be crowned at London's Westminster Abbey on May 6th in a ceremony full of pomp and pageantry with traditions dating back 1,000 years. There is a saying, dream like you'll live forever, live like you'll die tomorrow. This was a day for living and dreaming. One woman in California who is 90 years old is still embracing life like she's in her 20s. John Ramos has that story.
The Solstice Senior Living Community in Santa Rosa is a quiet, serene place for people to enjoy their golden years.
Oh, 68.
And they make sure there's always something to do. But 90-year-old Carmen Taylor had a different idea about staying active.
I asked her, what's something you've always wanted to do? And she didn't even think about it. She just said ziplining right away. So I said, okay, then we're going to go ziplining.
I thought it would be fun. It would be an adventure. It was kind of like the last one on my bucket list. And so I'm really looking forward to it.
As part of the Solstice Living the Dream program, Carmen, her son Brian, and activities director Melissa Morrissey took on the course at Sonoma's Zipline Adventures in Occidental. The adventure company's executive director said Carmen was breaking new ground for them.
We might have had a 90-year-old in the past, but let's just say, yeah, she's going to be the oldest.
After suiting up with all the necessary safety gear, the group headed up the stairs to their first perch. The zip lines take people from tree to tree, dangling high up in the air.
Yeah, I have my concerns. Height doesn't really bother me, but a ledge does. But if there's a railing or I'm strapped in, it'll probably be fine.
But Brian's mother didn't seem to have any concerns at all. Born on the island of Guam, Carmen survived the Japanese occupation in World War II and says that experience shaped her view of life.
I learned how quickly people can die or get in, And to me, there's just so much about living. I just know that there's just so much out there in the world. And the more I see, the more I want to see.
She says this kind of thing is exactly what she needs to stay young at heart.
A sense of adventure